The Williamsport Crosscutters 2023 Hot Stove Banquet was held at the Genetti Hotel in downtown Williamsport in front of another sold-out crowd. The event raised over $9,000 to benefit this year's charity, the programs of Sojourner Truth Ministries of Williamsport. One of our featured guests was former Seattle Mariner catcher and current head baseball coach of the Penn College Wildcats, Chris Howard. Howard talked about his playing days with the Williamsport Bills, trying to get Clint Hurdle's autograph as a kid, and what it's like to have Muncy Bank Ballpark as the home field for his squad. Here's our hot stove interview with Penn College head baseball coach, Chris Howard.
Well, here we go, Chris. Thanks for being here. Before we talk about your coaching career at Penn College, let's revisit your playing career just a bit.
That won't take long.
Oh, come on. The 89 and 90 seasons you spent right here in Williamsport as a catcher for the AA Williamsport Bills. I think we have a picture of that as well. There you are. Look at that. Goodness. Son of a gun. What do you remember about those years, and maybe a favorite memory of those years playing here?
I was clearly a lot thinner, I can tell you that. No, it was a great time. I mean, we had some really good teams. It was fun. It was just part of that journey to eventually get to the big leagues, but I liked Williamsport so much, moved back here and made this my home, and we raised kids here, so it was great.
That's awesome. Four-time World Series champion Jeff Nelson, who was a teammate, pitched on those teams with you. We had you both back in 2013 out at the ballpark. We did a throwback to the Bills. Here's a picture of you attempting to catch Nelly's first pitch. Look, that's the ball behind Jeff right there.
That's right.
What happened, Chris?
Nelly let one loose. I mean, and it got by me. It was a little embarrassing. I had a lot of the guys on the team, the college team, who were laughing at me as I was running back to the backstop to pick it up. But that might have been my most embarrassing moment in my life right there. So,
I'll let you say that he, really.
I'm glad you have a picture of that.
Yeah. We have a great picture. Isn't that great? The baseball right behind your back. 1995, you were with the Mariners, Ken Griffey on that team. What was it like to be on a team and have a front row seat to watch a player of that magnitude?
Well, obviously it was great. It was a great time to be in Seattle at that time too, because we were making that playoff run. It was that 95 team that probably saved baseball in Seattle. It was fun. I mean, we caught fire towards the end of the year. I was very fortunate to play with three Hall of Famers, Randy Johnson and Edgar Martinez, and obviously Ken Griffey. Alex Rodriguez was also on that team, and he was a great player in himself. So it was just a fun time. I mean, Seattle was rocking for that year, and it was just fun. It was a great time to be a part of it.
An amazing year. So one question from the audience, Chris, for you. Where were you when the Mariners beat the Yankees in the playoffs, 1995, Game 5?
I was jumping all over everybody at home plate and running out. In fact, everybody kids me, at least people who know me. If you see that highlight where Griffey's rounding third and sliding into home, and we beat the Yankees in the divisional series, and at the very end of that clip, it always ends with me and Griffey walking off the field hugging each other, so everybody thinks him and I are really tight now. So
best friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there a time in your playing career where you thought, hey, I think, coaching or managing, this is something I may want to do?
Well, it wasn't till a few years after I was done playing, because I'll be honest with you, when I was done playing, it was a little difficult. It wasn't an easy transition. You train your whole life. Your whole life is, I want to be a professional baseball player. You do it, you get there, and all of a sudden you're 33, 34 years old, and it's like, now what? And it was difficult for a couple of years. You see players that you came up with who are still playing, and it was tough to watch. But what eventually got me out of that was just the love of the game. I mean, baseball's all I know. I kid everybody, that's really all I know. So it was a natural progression to get, and the opportunity that I got with Penn College was fantastic, and this is my 17th year there.
Yeah, 2007 it all started, as you said, 17th year at the helm. The success of Penn College baseball since you've been there, Chris, is undeniable. You've racked up 10 20-win seasons, qualified for the conference tournament every year, 3 PSAC championship appearances, 2 titles. 8 years ago, Penn College goes to NCAA Division III. You won a championship, 2 years as a runner-up. I think that Penn College baseball might be one of Williamsport's best-kept secrets.
I think you're exactly right, Gabe. It is a best-kept secret, and a lot of that is just because Penn College is relatively new to the NCAA. It's our 9th year, so we don't have that pedigree that maybe a Lycoming College has right now, but we're getting there. We've got some great leadership that's kind of getting us over the top, and I think it's something that people can be really proud of in the area. It's a great college. We've got some. Obviously, we have some really good baseball program, and I think we're only getting better.
Absolutely. Bowman Field has been your home for a long time. What kind of recruiting tool is that for Penn College baseball?
It's the last thing I show a recruit every time. I mean, that is where we end. That is the clincher. That is where we end up. You walk out. Now you have to understand this. Back when I was here in '89 and '90, Bowman Field looked nothing what it looks like right now.
To say the least.
I tell guys that I used to play with, I have to convince them, like when they're watching the MLB Little League Classic, that they're actually watching Bowman Field, because that field was nothing what it used to be. We talked about earlier, we had a shortstop back in 1990. He was about 5'8". That was being generous. But the outfield dropped from the infield dirt. And so I'm behind the home plate squatting down, and I can literally only see Shane from his knees up, because the knees down you couldn't see, there was such a big drop. But the field right now, it's a major league field. I mean, it's a major league surface, dugouts. It's great. I mean, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's probably one of the premier places to play in terms of venue at the NCAA Division III level.
Mark down this date, Tuesday, March 21st. You've got a new opponent on your schedule, the Lycoming College Warriors. First ever meeting, I think, between these two teams.
It will be.
It should be fun. Is this going to be a yearly deal, or
absolutely? I mean, the other sports play each other every year. I mean, it's 2 college. I mean, we have 2 outstanding colleges in the same city. This is a baseball town, as far as I'm concerned. So I think it's going to be a great game for fans to come out and watch every year.
Switching gears a little bit, let's go to football. I know you're a big football fan. Sorry about the Cowboy. You a Cowboys fan?
My son is, and my brother's responsible for that.
Oh, okay, all right.
I am not an Eagles fan. I'm sorry. I can't do that, though.
But in addition to baseball, now, your high school did not have a baseball team, but you played football. You went to the University of Oklahoma to play football, as a matter of fact. 1985, under Barry Switzer, 11-1, and a national championship. How'd that all end up for you?
That was great, and I never forget, or never don't say who we beat. I mean, I always let people know who we beat that year. We beat Penn State that year in the Orange Bowl. But my youngest daughter, she went to Penn State and graduated from there, and she actually got me to a Penn State football game this last fall. I was wearing Penn State gear, so I've kind of come full circle here.
Hey, you know, you're here with Clint Hurdle tonight, but it's not certainly the first time that you've met him, because on your Twitter account, look at that. You guys were just together.
Look at that.
Earlier this month. Where was that?
That was the ABCA, American Baseball Coaches Association convention down in Nashville. And I have a story about Clint. He owes me an autograph. And I actually had to ask him if I could tell this story, because I grew up in Kansas City. So I was a huge Royals fan. Obviously, the 70s and the 80s, the Royals were it. George Brett was the man, and then Clint Hurdle was right behind him. And there was a time we were out at Royal Stadium. I was probably 11 years old. Clint Hurdle is coming down the first base line, and we're all leaning out trying to get an autograph. He's signing autographs. He's getting closer to me. He's getting closer. I'm right there. Right at the last second, this lady pushes herself in front of me and hands Clint a pair of panties for him to sign. Clint signed those panties and then had to go into the dugout, and I'm sitting there, 11-year-old, left with my program, and I'm looking back at my dad. But I did say, it was at that moment I knew I wanted to be a professional baseball player. So,
Clint, do you remember that? Yeah, I bet he does. True story. Hey, visit PCTWildcats.com for schedule information for the Penn College 2023 baseball season. Home games at Muncy Bank Ballpark at Historic Bowman Field. Admission is free. Penn College head baseball coach Chris Howard.
thank you.